headwaters of our River Liffey. So from Dublin we end up with Dublin. You can see it's a tidal river. You can see the tide is low today, and we're not far away at all from the port of Dublin at this point. So you see the seaweed, you see there on the inside of the river wall. James Joyce, probably Dublin's most celebrated writer, used to refer to the River Liffey. He gave it a lady's name. He called it the Anna Livia Plurabella. Cathedral. We'll see both of them today. Now let's move down a little bit further, and if you can look across to your right again, we're going to come down by the Clarence Hotel. Directly opposite us now, it's the tallest building on the terrace on the right there, directly opposite us. That is the Clarence Hotel, owned by the band U2. The band U2 own that hotel. It's a very trendy hotel now. It's a 5-star hotel. When we have visiting bands come to Dublin, they nearly always stay in that hotel, so it's a good place to do a bit of people watching. It is part of the Temple Bar area. Now, what you see here across the river to the right is an area which is called Temple Bar. You probably have read about it in your guidebooks. It's an area of Dublin basically full of bars, restaurants and nightclubs. The Temple Bar area. And it's a very expensive part of Dublin. Visitors often talk about wanting to see Temple Bar. Go see it. The bars there are terribly expensive though. You're going to pay probably at least twice what you'd pay in a regular bar. You're going to pay in Temple Bar. It's just very expensive. It's a very touristy area. There are lots of restaurants there. They're not particularly good. They're really kind of aimed at tourists. Food in Ireland generally is very, very good. But you're going to pay a premium in Temple Bar for everything. It's an expensive place. It's a place for hen nights and stag parties at weekends. So I always say to be avoided at all costs. On our right hand side here, we have the halfpenny bridge. On the right there, you used to have to pay a half a penny to cross over that bridge in olden times. That's it there beside us, the halfpenny bridge. And on the inside of the river wall here, we have a walkway. This is called the Millennium Boardwalk. And this was put here to celebrate the year 2000 for Dubliners, to celebrate the millennium here. They put down the boardwalk. So when you walk along the boardwalk, it's like being on a ship. It's like when you walk along there, you see it's like a ship's rail there. And there are seats on the inside of the river wall where people can sit, take a little rest from the city. Right hand side, come on to the top of the street there. A really very wide street this is. And directly ahead of us, and we're going to come down this street on the far side as well, so you'll get a chance to see it, is this great big stainless steel spike. It's known as the Millennium Spire. You'll probably have to pop your head out a little bit into the aisle to see the top of it. A bit tricky to see it from the coach, but once you're on foot, you can see it everywhere. Our Millennium Spire. It should have been here for the year 2000. That was the plan. Remember, it's called the Millennium Spire. But the spire was running over budget and behind time, and we only got our spire in 2003, at which time we'd forgotten all about the hype of the millennium. It was all over at that point. Now, before we go right up past this spire, we're going to take a look at probably the most important historical building in Ireland, and it is the post office, the General Post Office, the GPO. It was the headquarters for the Irish rebels. When they took over the 14 key buildings in Dublin, this was their headquarters. So this is the building here on our left. This is where Padraig Pearse, the great Irish patriot, defiantly read out the Proclamation of Irish Independence. And as we go by, you can still see the bullet marks and the pillars there as we go by from the fighting of 1916. So it was from here that the rebels were forced to surrender, and the leaders then were marched off to Kilmainham Jail, where they were killed by firing squad. But that's what sowed the seed for Irish independence. The hospital here was one of the world's earliest purpose-built maternity hospitals. It was established here in Dublin in 1713, and it's not a bad place to be, because after you have your baby here, they'll give you free Guinness. Good for the nursing mothers, helps the baby sleep. So it's no major hardship having your baby here when you're going to get free Guinness afterwards. A lot of the ladies say when they're getting their pint of Guinness off the doctor, they'd say it was the Guinness that got me in here in the first place, and it'll get me out as well. So there you go. Guinness is good for you. Here in Parnell Square, we have on our left here, that is the Dublin City Gallery, our municipal art gallery there, where they have a lovely collection of artwork by the French Impressionist artists. And to our left here as well, we have the Dublin Writers' Museum. You see where the black and gold railings are there beside the church, the Dublin Writers' Museum. This city of ours can boast that we've had 3 Nobel Prize winners for literature. We've had William Butler Yeats, George Bernard Shaw, and more recently was Samuel Beckett. And now you get a very good view now also on the right hand side there of the post office. The General Post Office held with great fondness in the hearts of Irish people. The post office where the rebels had their headquarters there for the Rising of 1916. It's Blood Donor Clinic. Take a look here to the right. You see there where it says Blood Donor Clinic. That's not a bad place. Going back maybe about 8-9 years ago, in the blood donor clinics, when you went in to donate a pint of blood for the Irish hospitals, they gave you free Guinness afterwards. Imagine you got free Guinness in the blood donor clinics. So you got a pint for a pint, you swapped your pint of blood and you got a pint of Guinness. There was no shortage of blood donors, let me tell you. It is strange that the Vikings be building cathedrals when basically they were plundering all the churches and cathedrals here. But anyway, they built this one to gain control. It was built as a Catholic cathedral here. But would you believe, in Dublin today, Dublin being the capital of a Catholic country, we don't actually have a Catholic cathedral. We have 2 Protestant ones. This cathedral now is Protestant, it's Church of Ireland. Henry VIII had a fallout with Rome. He couldn't get a divorce from his first wife. He exercised his authority to govern the Irish Church. He outlawed the Catholic Church and made the established church in Ireland Church of Ireland, although the majority of people here are actually Catholic.